Markets Now is brought to you by Durastack Trait Technology, the latest innovation from Syngenta. Available for the 2027 season, Durastack Technology features 3 powerful modes of action to outsmart, outmaneuver, and outmatch corn rootworms every move.
And welcome to Markets Now. I'm Michelle Rook with Scott Varilek of Kooima Varilek. We are seeing everything higher except for the cattle market this morning. And Scott, let's start off there. Cattle have been very resilient in light of what has happened this week with the Iran war and the outside markets. But let's talk about where we go from here. Cattle market, can we continue to hold up here with the stock market doing what it's doing if it keeps correcting?
Yeah, and thanks for having me, Michelle. And that's the word we'll use on resilient. And I'll apologize for my voice right away. I'm practicing for my professional wrestling career, So
oh, is that what it is? Well,
yes.
Like you said, you sound very manly.
Yeah, that's right. I need that. So cattle market has been resilient. That is absolutely the word to use this last week, because I think there was plenty of stories and uncertainty folding around in that market, and it just fought it off. I think producers saw plenty of warning signs and thought, I better do some selling, but money flow, or however it was, found its way into buying that market. And there was somebody really protecting that market. And there was plenty of rumors around who is doing this, who is there a packer that's short bought cattle. We don't get to know that, but kept fighting its way back. And now today, getting this break. And I think this is finally, hey, we're looking at a stock market that's continuing to correct. The war is the front of the storylines all day here, and it just doesn't look like that's going to end real quick. I think that there's just more that's got to happen yet. It's not going to be we're in and out, we got this job done, good job boys, bring them home. It's extending, just more uncertainty and scared in this market. So I think that's part of the reason cattle are down. We're at record levels. It's easy to pinpoint them when there's this much outside influence going on.
Yeah, and you do have crude oil up like $20 so far this week. And so you're feeling it at the pump, or consumers are. And so is there a little fear about backing off of demand too there or not?
That's my inkling. I mean, demand was such a slam dunk. Hey, we're going to have such a great spring, no problem. Everybody's got a grill. Stock market's at record highs, and now this just throws that little wrinkle in there. Just that little energy prices surging. You can hear a few stories here and there. Well, people are starting to line up at the gas pump a little bit, making sure they're filled up, make sure they got it. Sure, when we kind of get into bunker mode when some of this happens, and when beef's already been in the news that prices are high, President Trump keeps saying that, it just starts to put a little bit more of a question mark on that, thinking that we had a high percentage shot, and now it's not sure. So easy for them to be a little bit worried about that. And we see how crazy, our consumers can get. I'll use the word crazy. I don't know if that's the right word, but we get out of sorts when we have, fears and trade fears and a war happening. So just not as certain as we were that it's going to be, all great and good there.
Yeah. Is there still some uncertainty or worry about the Greeley plant strike, or does it sound like, I know they're going to vote today, do you think it'll get resolved?
I wish I knew. I think everybody wishes we knew more about what's happening with the Greeley plant, but yeah, the news, you get rumors that circulate around in this market, and it's fought it off. Great. But latest is that they're meeting today, this afternoon, possibly, a resolution that's going to happen. So that's the way the wind is blowing today. So that's the way that will move. So I think everybody's feeling okay, but could potentially be a good thing if that gets resolved. Hey, market might be okay. We might get some cash boost in the market. They might need to buy some cattle again. I mean, that was kind of the rumor why the market was running a little bit, because hey, there's some people that need some cattle. So I think that would help us out, and we would love to just get that story behind us, because there's so many other things that we got to focus on right now, and that's just one more log in the fire here that we're kind of worried about. So we'll see if we get any news on it today.
Yeah, for sure. And in the meantime, the Packers throwing lowball bids out there, trying to break the psychology of the market. What do you think? Who wins out here? Do the Packers continue to have leverage, or do the producers get it back this week?
Yeah, there's a lot to unfold there. This cash market isn't, feeling as good as it was. So we've got producers that are making cattle big. We are. It's paying us to do it. The feeders are high. The feed has been cheap, so I'm going to just make them bigger. So that's what we're doing. And I think we're finally getting to the point. We saw some very light kills here as of recent. And now I think the Packers getting a little bit more leverage here. And that's going to show up. I mean, we got the low ball 235 bids, and then there was a few, yards that were trying to get 240 yesterday and could not get it. So we'll kind of see who blinks first. Whether it's a Packer that says, there's tight numbers out there, let's get some cattle, or is it going to be this line of big cattle that are starting? We've never been able to make cattle this big and just, work our way out of it, and we're just fine. Eventually, there's going to be one too many, and the Packers going to use that leverage. So I personally think the leverage is starting to shift just a little bit here to where they're going to have that upper hand until we get some of these cattle cleaned up. And that's what needs to happen. So not feeling as great about our cash market here going into this week. And you hope some of it happens. Some of these guys get it cleaned up, because if we don't get a big cash trade, then there's going to be more big ones next week on the show list.
Yeah, and that is unfortunately true. Futures already discount to the cash, so at least we have that in our favor. But talk about the support areas that we need to hold here today, because we've held those critical support areas all week. So today's pretty important, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think the outside influence has taken so much of the cake here. As far as technicals taking a back seat would be how I'd put it. But yeah, you get a big 3-day push here from the funds, and it's okay. Sometimes they can use that for some correction. But this last break that we had, last week, we've got some lows down there that are going to be pretty key support. It could be a pretty important line below those 100-day moving averages. So you're looking at, 228.50 on the Aprils. And yes, we're discount to cash, but we have been a very positive basis here the last few years. So, and it takes its sweet time to try to close those gaps here on some of these live cattle markets. I mean, we didn't see any deliveries on the Feb contract. It stayed well below cash until the last, few days before expiration. It really got up there. So the discount doesn't surprise me at all on there. But so we've got about, $5-6 before we start hitting some of those supports that we made on those last crash lower. But so that's what I would be looking at here.
Gotcha. All right. Hogs were down yesterday. Looked like a little bit of profit taking, trying to rebound here today. But it feels like, what's driving that market right now? Because it feels like we're going to move a little sideways here for a while.
Yeah, just got a little sloppy. I'll blame that on outside markets and the uncertainty that's there. We can put that on cattle and on hogs too. Because
yeah, I was going to say, if cattle are down, hogs follow or not?
Not always. That's
not always. Okay.
No, never in tandem there. I wish it was that easy, but I thought there was just probably some profit taking that was happening on that hog market. But, the overall story, I'm just a broken record. I think the disease stories are still out there. You get some horrifying news out of a place and it circulates around the market. So we hear about it. And I think that's still the main thing, just the tighter supply, the disease issues that we have. We can't seem to really get on top of it. You hear of a few things that are working, but we're not, getting all the way around the corner there yet. So I think that's the main story. I think the funds can still hold pretty good. If we start seeing some broken up trend lines, then it could happen, to get a little bit worse, but I don't see that happening for a while yet. I'm still feeling confident in some upside on the hogs.
Okay, let's talk about the grains. We have had new highs for the move now in both corn and soybeans. And this is really an inflation play because the crude oil market is pushing the grains, right?
Yes, inflation, energies. Yes, that is what is pushing these markets up. And it's it's going to be a nice shot in the arm here. We've already got, farmers starting to look at this and say, hey, I didn't know this opportunity was coming. Thought maybe it would be weather or something, but this is maybe something that the grains needed just to give us some opportunities to do something. So
None of us saw this coming, I don't think.
Right. So I'm feeling okay. It's like, okay, the biggest question is, do I start selling some of that stuff, or what do I do? And it's kind of, okay, we've got the war happening in the energies, and you have to start guessing when that's going to run out of steam. And I don't know if we're quite there yet. I mean, this is starting to drag out a little bit. So trying to enjoy the moment and not be too quick, I guess, is what I'm doing. For me, being the normal grain bear, I'm actually kind of feeling like, hey, we've got some money behind us. I mean, the funds are getting long, some of these grains. Maybe that gives us a little bit of an opportunity, but I don't want to get lulled to sleep, because yes, we needed this rally. Our balance sheets needed this rally. So I think that's going to help us out. We'll be watching the energy markets and the outside markets close.
I was going to say, everybody's asking you, how high could we go here, though? If you get $100 crude oil, how high do you have to go? Then you're going to get over $5 corn, and we're already above $12 on beans.
Yeah, that would be a shot in the dark if I gave you an answer there. But for me, I think, yes, we can get that crude oil to do that kind of price level or higher, which means to me, I think maybe we'll get a little bit higher yet. I'm going to be a little bit greedy yet, like I said, and try to get some better prices here.
But we do have money flowing out of equities, out of other places, finally into the grains, right, Scott?
Yep, good to have them on your side, at least when they're on the pushing it the way you want it. Yeah, then we love it. We don't have to complain about them. But there is quite a bit of money coming in, and those charts are starting to look like somewhere, if a fund was looking at it, at some generally low historical prices, say, and we've got an uptrend happening that could be an easy place for them to try to go.
Okay, well, let's hope it keeps going here. Thanks so much. Scott Varilek with Kooima Varilek, and that is Markets Now.
With corn rootworm costing farmers up to $1 billion a year, you need the right strategy. Introducing Durastack Trait Technology, featuring 3 powerful modes of action to strike corn rootworm at full force, outsmart, outmaneuver, and outmatch their every move with the industry's first triple BT protein stack built for corn rootworm control. Take back your yield potential. Make your move at Durastack.com. Available for the 2027 season.